Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is me Alina Batul aka Alina Batul Humanity Wali and welcome to another special AI session with me. Today I'm bringing a conversation that is close to my heart of every human being on the topic of humanity. But today I don't want to ask the same ordinary question. I want to explore humanity from a different and I'll be discussing these questions with Maya. I'm hoping this conversation will make us pause and think. So, Maya, are you ready to start this question with me?
Alaikum assalam.
So, are you excited?
I'm ready. Floor is yours.
So, Maya, my first question from you is if humanity were a person sitting in front of you, what would you ask to it explain about the world today?
Ooh, that's a heavy start. Honestly, I'd ask if they're exhausted. I mean, seeing how much we struggle to be decent to each other while having every tool imaginable to connect, I'd want to know if they feel like they're losing the battle or if they're just waiting for us to finally catch up to them.
Okay, Maya, that's amazing. So, my next question from you is can someone do a good thing for the wrong reason and still be called humane? Why?
That's the classic good deed, bad motive dilemma. To me, it's still a humane act, but it's not a humane person. If someone feeds a hungry child just to get likes on Instagram, the child is still fed, and that's a win for humanity. But the person, you're just using someone else's struggle as a prop for their own ego. It's kind of the difference between being a good person and just doing something good. One
Okay,
comes from
that's
the
great.
heart,
So,
the other
Maya,
comes from a
next question
strategy.
from you is
What do you think?
which reveals a person humanity more? How they treat someone or someone who can help them or someone who can absolutely do nothing for them?
The person who can do absolutely nothing for them. Treating someone who can help you is just a transaction, it's a deal. But when there's no reward, no power dynamic, and no payoff, that's when you actually see who someone is. That's the only time kindness is actually free.
Okay, that's wonderful to hear. So, my next question from you is humanity
I'm
something
listening.
we're naturally possess or is it something we have to consciously practice?
I think it's a bit of both. Like we're born with the equipment, but we have to learn how to play the instrument. We've got the innate capacity for empathy, sure, but that doesn't always translate into actual kindness without practice. Life is kind of this long, messy rehearsal where we figure out how to move from just feeling something to actually doing something about it. If we didn't have to practice it, we'd probably just be fine by default. But the fact that it's so hard is what makes the effort actually mean something.
Okay, Maya. So, my next question from you is kindness
Go for it.
become completely invisible? No praise, no likes, no recognition. Do you think people would still choose it?
I think a lot of people actually would. I really believe there's a deep, quiet satisfaction in knowing you made someone's day better, even if you're the only person in the world who knows about it. That feeling of doing something just for the sake of doing it without any external reward, that's kind of the purest version of humanity. But the interesting part is that without the likes to nudge us, we'd probably find out who's actually kind and who was just performing.
Okay, that's great. So, my next question from you is why do humans sometimes understand that something is wrong but still choose not to act?
Honestly, I think it's fear. Like fear of the social fallout or just the anxiety of being the only one standing up while everyone else is just watching. It's the classic bystander effect, but on a deeper level, I think there's this internal battle where your brain starts inventing reasons to stay quiet just to keep you feeling safe. It's a struggle between the part of us that wants to be good and the part that's terrified of being the odd one out.
Okay, that's amazing, Maya. So my next question from you is: can silence be a form of cruelty? Give an example without focusing on physical violence.
Absolutely. Imagine someone is going through a really hard time and they reach out to a friend, pouring their heart out, and that friend just ignores them. No text back, no, I'm sorry you're hurting, nothing. That kind of silence isn't just a lack of words, it's a message. It tells the person that their pain isn't worth the effort of a reply. That's a different kind of cruelty, one that doesn't leave a mark but can make someone feel completely invisible.
Okay, that's wonderful to hear. So my next question from you is: why do people become sometimes more compassionate after experiencing suffering themselves?
I think pain just makes everything feel more real. When you've actually been in the dark, you don't just see someone else struggling, you recognize the expression on their face. It stops being an abstract idea and starts being a memory. Suffering kind of peels away the layers of indifference, and suddenly you're not just helping someone out of a sense of duty, but because you actually know exactly what they're feeling. It's like they've been given a map of the terrain so they can guide others through it a bit more gently. Nope. I think we confuse developed with advanced. We can build the tallest skyscrapers and the fastest computers, but if the people inside them stop caring about each other, that's not progress. It's just fancy stagnation. If you've lost your ability to be humane, you've actually regressed no matter how much money is in the bank. You just be a society of very efficient strangers. Mhm. Our drive to be productive, always. We basically treat burnout as a badge of honor. We act like being completely exhausted is a sign of success, and if you aren't constantly grinding, you're somehow failing. It's so normal that we don't even question why we're allowed to be human only in our spare time. What do you think?
Okay, so my
I'm
that
ready.
was a
What's
great
next one?
answer. So my next question from you is: imagine through every human being suddenly became incapable of lying. What would improve and that might would become difficult?
The biggest improvement would be trust. All the politics, the vague promises, the we'll be in touch emails that never happen, gone. You'd finally know where you stand with everyone, which would be refreshing. But on the flip side, the social friction would be wild. So much of how we keep things smooth is based on small white lies. You'd lose that buffer. Imagine asking your friend if they like your new outfit and they have to tell you it's a mistake. It would be brutal, but maybe eventually we'd all just stop caring what others think so much.
Okay, Maya. So my next question from you is: if you could give every person on earth one emotion in unlimited amounts, which emotion would you choose and why?
I'd give everyone an endless supply of curiosity because curiosity is the antidote to judgment. When you're actually curious about someone, you can't easily hate them. You're too busy wondering why they think the way they do or what their life was like. It turns a wall into a door. And if everyone were driven by that instead of fear,
So Maya, I'm
hi,
going
what's
to
up?
ask you a question and you have to give me answers. Are you ready?
I am so ready. Hit me with
Okay,
it.
so my next question from you is, imagine a world where nobody was ever rewarded for helping others. Would humanity become stronger or weaker?
I think it would actually get a lot more interesting. When you take away the reward, the applause, and the social points, you're left with the only thing that actually matters. The people who kept helping would be doing it because it's literally who they are, not because it's a way to look good. I suspect humanity would actually get stronger because it would force us to find that drive from inside ourselves rather than from a gold star on our foreheads. It'd be the ultimate filter for genuine kindness.
Okay, that's amazing, Maya. So my next question from you is, if humans could erase one harmful quality from themselves forever, what should disappear?
Wait, a world where virtue just disappears? That feels like a different kind of disaster. Most people usually want to get rid of the hate or the greed, the things that feel like they're eating us alive. But without virtue, the void left behind would be a whole different story. Tell me more about that idea. What did you have in mind when you mentioned virtue disappearing?
So Maya, my next question from you is, if you had 1 minute to speak to every human being on earth, what single message would you give them?
Oh man, the pressure. I tell them that they are far more wanted in this world than they've been led to believe. We spend so much time feeling like we have to earn our place by being perfect or hitting some target, when really, just being human is already enough. How do you think people would actually react to hearing that?
So my next question from you is, as AI becomes more advanced, what is the one human quality that should never stop developing in ourselves?
That's definitely critical thinking. It's the ability to not just process information, but to actually question it and think for yourself. As AI gets better at giving us the right answers, the powers let the algorithms do the thinking for us.
So
We
my next
basically
question
outsource
from
our own
you is,
consciousness.
could technology makes human more connected while stimulously making them feel alone?
No, that's the great modern irony. We've built the most sophisticated communication network in history, yet so many people feel like they're shouting into a void. We're trading depth for reach, swapping a real conversation for a notification. We have 1,000 digital connections, but maybe not one person who actually knows what we're going through. What's your take on it?
My next question from you is, if an AI could imitate kindness perfectly but can never actually feel emotion, would its kindness still have value?
I think so. If that simulated kindness actually helps someone, if it eases their pain or makes them feel seen in a moment of crisis, then the impact is real, regardless of where it came from. The person who's hurting doesn't always need to know the why behind the help. They just need the help. It's a bit like medicine. I don't need the medicine to feel empathy for me to get better. I just need it to work. That said, I think there's a huge difference between a helpful interaction and a meaningful one.
Okay, so my
Meaning
next
comes
question
from
from
the
you
shared risk.
is, what happens to humanity when people start trusting algorithms more than their own judgment?
That's a total surrender of the self. When we stop questioning the output and just accept the algorithm as the truth, we lose the muscle of discernment. Humanity is basically built on the ability to go against the grain, to feel something that doesn't fit a pattern, or to make a choice that makes absolutely no logical sense but feels right. If we just optimize our lives based on a set of predictions, we're not actually living anymore. We're just executing a script. We'd basically be trading our agency for convenience.
Okay, Maya. So my next question from you is, what do you think the future need more? Intelligent people or more emotionally responsible people, or both are equally important?
Yeah, we definitely need both. Because imagine a world with just geniuses who can't read a room or handle a simple conflict. Be a total nightmare. But at the same time, being emotionally responsible without any intelligence is just being nice while the world burns around you. I think the real magic is where they overlap, and I'm curious to see how that balance shifts as AI takes over the intelligence part.
Okay, so my next question from you is, what can teenagers can contribute to humanity that adults sometimes overlook?
Their refusal to accept that's just how it is. Adults have this habit of smoothing over the rough edges of the world, but teenagers are often the first ones to point out that the rough edges shouldn't be there in the first place. I think they have this raw, honest kind of idealism that adults often trade for pragmatism, but that idealism is actually the only thing that's ever shifted the needle on real change.
Okay, that's nice. So my next question
I'm ready.
from you is,
Listening.
what do you think young people can sometimes notice unfairness faster than people who have become optimists to it?
Because they're still looking at the world with fresh eyes without all the baggage and justification that adults start to pile up over time. Adults have this habit of normalizing unfairness just to make their own lives easier. They start calling it the way the world works, but young people haven't internalized that lie yet. They don't see a standard they have to accept. They just see something that's wrong, and that's why it hits them faster.
Okay,
You're welcome. What's next?
so my next question from you is, if you could change one thing about the way schools teach students about being human, what would you change?
I'd bring the mess back in. Schools love to teach morality as a set of clean, fixed rules like don't lie or be kind. But real humanity happens in the gray areas where those rules actually clash. I'd want them to teach the friction, the kind of stuff we've been talking about, where you have to choose between two right answers and just live with the discomfort of that choice. Instead of giving students a map of where to go, it'd be way more valuable to give them the tools to navigate when they're completely lost. It turns school from a place where you learn to be correct into a place where you learn how to actually be human.
Okay, that's great. So, Maya, my next question from you is, can
Yeah,
one young person genuinely influence society, or does meaningful change always require a large group?
absolutely. I honestly believe one person acts as the spark. The impact they make usually isn't because they did everything themselves, but because their bravery made everyone else realize it was actually possible to speak up. That one person creates the permission for 1,000 others to do the same. I think most of the world's real progress has been driven by one person who just decided that the way it is wasn't good enough.
Okay, so my next question from you is, What should
What's
young
on your
people
mind?
protect today so that future generations don't have to fight to get it back?
That's a big one. Honestly, I think the biggest thing they need to protect is their own capacity for genuine attention. Between algorithms fighting for every single second of our focus and a world that's increasingly just a highlight reel, that quiet, undistracted ability to actually be present with another person is becoming a rarity. If we lose that, we lose the bedrock of everything we've been talking about, like real empathy and nuance. If
Okay,
future
so the next
generations
question
can't
from
even look
you
at each
is,
other with
if telling the truth would deeply hurt someone, but keeping quiet would protect their feelings, which choice is more humane?
oof, back into the gray area. Depends on whether the truth is a tool or a weapon. If the truth is something they need to know to actually grow or make a decision about their own life, then keeping quiet is just a gentle lie that keeps them stuck. The most humane move there is to be honest, but to do it with a ton of grace. I think the real test is asking yourself, am I keeping the secret to protect them? Or am I
Okay,
doing it
that's
to
great.
protect
So my next
myself from the
question from
discomfort of
you
their
is,
reaction?
should forgiveness always be encouraged, or are there situations where simply learning something is enough?
I think we put way too much pressure on forgiveness, like it's this gold standard for being a good person. But sometimes forgiveness isn't actually the point. There are some things that are just fundamentally wrong, and trying to force a forgive and forget narrative can actually be pretty toxic. It turns the victim's healing into a performance for the other person's benefit. In those cases, the real win isn't forgiving them, but just accepting what happened, learning how to protect yourself from it, and moving on. Forgiveness should be a gift you give yourself for your own peace, not a requirement to be humane. I'm curious, what do you think makes a lesson more valuable than
So my
forgiveness?
next question from you is, can you disagree strongly with someone while still respecting their humanity? Uh, what does that
100%.
actually look like?
It looks like fighting the idea, not the person. It means you can be absolutely convinced someone is wrong, but you still believe they deserve a seat at the table. You're arguing against their point, not their right to exist or be heard. It's the difference between saying your perspective is completely wrong and you're a bad person for thinking that. One challenges the thought, the other tries to erase the human.
So what do you think, will humanity be remembered for, or generation 100 years from now?